Welcome everybody. Thank you for joining me today. I would like to take this time to issue a formal apology for the selection of words I have been utilizing lately for my irreprehensible actions and my behavior recently. I hope to set a better example for those coming up behind me, and I gotta get it right. I gotta get it right. I am truly sorry, and I hope to better myself in the coming days, weeks, months, and years, however long I do this silly podcast. But until then, thank you for once again for joining me. This is Fight Fat Podcast number 6. I'm stuffed up. I'm sick. I can't breathe. My voice is nasally, but I'm a soldier and I'm here for you. I have never seen a moose kissing a goose. I've also never seen a black man loving his son. Or at least I should say I've never seen my dad loving me. I've also never seen a 330-pound man doing a handstand, so I thought, hey, I might as well be the first, right? And so I've been incorporating like little exercises, or just I've been, after my yoga and heavy bag workouts, I've been walking myself up a wall, trying to get to the point where I could do a handstand, and I actually can now. And that is a very weird thing because I can't imagine anatomically I'm supposed to be able to do a handstand. My body, my ligaments, my muscles, they are not applauding me when I do a handstand. They are screaming at me. They are furious with me. I'm in pain, but that's okay. I might make a picture of me doing the handstand, the background to this week's podcast. I'm not sure about that though. Not sure about that. Because only I wouldn't know how to do that, so it'd take quite a while to try and figure that out. I can describe it for you if you've never seen me. Other than my face and the background, I look like somebody took the torso of an elk and stapled bare legs and arms to it. And maybe that sounds complimentary, self-complimentary, but it's not. Not. I look like an unhealthy elk mated with an unhealthy bear, and somehow their torsos and limbs were separated perfectly. What I'm saying is I'm not in the best shape, but I can do a handstand. Allegedly, you don't have evidence yet. Maybe I'll show you some evidence. Maybe you'll have to take my word for it. Maybe you have to take my word for it. But you know what? We're not here to talk about my handstanding capabilities. Oh, I'm sitting forward. We're not here to talk about my handstanding capabilities. We're here to talk about UFC 249. What a time that was. After months of no UFC, no fights, no sports for anybody, they came back strong. That was a stacked card, and that was a wonderful night for me. Well, it was a wonderful night when I saw my guys winning. Yeah, I had a couple bumps and bruises to my heart there, with my emotions when I saw a couple of those guys lose. But yeah, it happens. It's all part of the sport, and it's just the sport. I'm not gonna take that personally, and I hope they don't take it personally. I hope that they come back in a couple months and they're right back at it. UFC 249 started out with Ryan Spann winning by split decision over Sam Alvey. I'm not going to say it was a questionable decision, but at the end, Sam was definitely winning. But it's just the way fights are scored. Nothing you could really do about it. That was definitely a good fight. I won't really have to say this was a good fight or this was a good fight. These were all but one of these were good fights, and I'll talk about that one specifically. But Bryce Mitchell, Thug Nasty UFC, beat Charles Rosa in a unanimous decision. This is my fight of the week. Might as well throw it in right now. This was
Like, as I was watching this, I was literally thinking, this is going to be my fight of the week. Bryce Mitchell, he pulled off that twister a couple months ago, and now I'm absolutely all aboard the Bryce Mitchell train. Okay, I think he should change his nickname from Thug Nasty to the Human Cellophane Rap, because it's smothering watching him fight like that. He was on top of Charles Rosa. I don't even know how many submissions he attempted. And all credit, all respect to Charles Rosa. He did not tap to anything. He was literally talking trash from the bottom. I thought that was hilarious. That's the thing with the empty arenas. You could hear so much. But while in the last round when Bryce was on top of him, he was going, "Let's stand up! Let's stand up, punk! Come on, let's stand up!" And I think that's hilarious. But yeah, I would have been pretty frustrated if I was him too. But that was a great fight. Like I said, I'm absolutely all in on Bryce Mitchell. And Dana White said that he was going to get his camouflage shorts, so I'm happy about that. I'm proud of my man there. He tripled the amount of twisters ever attempted in the UFC in that one fight. Threw out like 5 arm triangle attempts. So that's a scary human being. That's a scary role of Human Cellophane Rap right there. Vicente Luque versus Nico Price. That was a ridiculous fight. I think a lot of people would have made that their fight of the week. Vicente Luque, great striker, strong, physically strong, mentally tough, against Nico Price, who is strong, physically and mentally, and he's also got the benefit of being a madman, throwing out some weird stuff. Yeah, he was one of the toughest fighters of the night because he took a lot of shots. It ended up having to be, it was stopped by the doctor. He was willing to keep going, but Joe Rogan said, outside of the octagon, if you cut off his head, he would still try to keep the fight going. So, all respect to him, and I'm definitely, I can't wait to watch either one of those guys fight again. Vicente will probably fight sooner than Nico Price because Nico's eye was pretty messed up there. So, I'm always gonna have love in my heart for Nico Price because I feel like I shouldn't say something this poignant, but he knocked out James Vick, and anybody that knocks out James Vick, I will always love them in my heart. I don't know why. He was the first fighter I ever learned to hate. So, James the Executed Vick, shout out to you. I'm sure you're a great guy. I just don't like you. Because that matters to you. Carla Esparza versus Michelle Waterson via split decision. Michelle Waterson, I missed part of this fight. You know what? I might as well. Well, I'm not going to name drop. I got an Instagram message from one of my heroes in combat sports. So I was literally doing laps around my house trying to wear out the excitement. I saw the message. I said, "Oh, that's you! I love you, dude or lady." And I was so excited. I was literally running around my house for the 12 seconds that my feeble heart could bear, and I missed part of this fight. But everything I've heard, from what I saw, Michelle was winning, and from everything I've heard from fans, a couple other fighters, Michelle won that fight. So, that was the boring one I talked about. There was so much action in the first 3 fights. That one sort of just didn't live up to me. Alexei Olenek defeated Fabricio Verdum. I was expecting Verdum to come back a bit harder than this. He seemed, well, I mean, he's been out since 2018, I think, so it's expected for him to be a bit out of shape. But he seemed a little bit really out of shape, maybe. I think he's going to come back better. He got a warm-up fight. even though he lost. I don't think you're supposed to lose warm-up fights, but he has one under his belt now. And Alexei Olenek, I got to give props to him. He was striking like I've never seen. You know what? This was a way more exciting fight than I remembered. He was throwing bombs at Verdum. He was trying to kill him. He was trying to take his head off. And they both hurt each other. You know, I got to rewatch this fight. I forgot about that. Alexei Olenek came in way thinner than he usually does. I don't remember exactly how much he typically weighs, but yeah, he came in with a flat stomach and bombs in his hands. So, yeah, that was a great fight. Anthony Pettis versus Donald Cerrone. Anthony Pettis won, but he lost. He won the decision, but he lost that fight. He knows it, and that one really hurts my heart. They gotta... I don't know if it's fixed the judge. I don't know if they have to fix the scoring system, or if they just need to fire all the judges. That's not true. They need to fire all the judges. Get actual people that know what they're watching in there. I don't... it wasn't Anthony Pettis' fault that he won. It's not his fault that he got the nod in a bad decision, you know. He did his job. He went out there and fought. And then Keith Peterson, I think is the name of the referee. He missed a really bad eye poke, and that's going to burn me on him. Refereeing is a really hard job. I think Herb Dean is they call him the gold standard. I think he's the best in the business. Best there was, the best there is, and the best there ever will be. He's the Bret the Hitman Hart of UFC reffing. But, he's made mistakes. I'm pretty good at letting those, shrugging those off. But someone like Keith Peterson, who isn't around quite as much, when he makes a mistake, it's going to get under your skin a bit, especially because he had 2 questionable decisions during the card. You know what? As a matter of fact, Dominick Cruz, I don't know if this is true. Okay, this is all hearsay, speculation. I have no idea. But Dominick Cruz told Dana White that Keith Peterson was drunk while he was reffing the fight. If they find something like that out to be true, that's going to be huge because, well, I imagine that guy won't have a job anymore. Yeah, so, I guess, shout out to Anthony Pettis, Donald Cerrone. I love you. Greg Hardy versus Yorgan De Castro. Yorgan De Castro, I actually thought was going to... I thought he was going to run... I didn't think this going into the fight. I thought Greg Hardy was going to win, and he did. But after the fight started, I thought that Yorgan was going to roll over Greg Hardy. And he was doing it. He was destroying his leg. He was throwing good punches. And then he went and he broke his foot. He threw a kick. Greg Hardy shimmied backwards. He caught his shin with just the tip of his toes, and after that, it was over for him. He couldn't move well, and yeah, it was all downhill from there. He might have thrown. I think he broke his foot halfway through the second round. In the next 7 minutes or however long, he threw like 3 strikes. That's all I remember seeing. So, say what you will about Greg Hardy, he is definitely making strides in his fight career. He's you can't question his dedication to the sport. He's absolutely going for it, and that I will absolutely respect above everything. But also, his performance before the foot break, I'm going to give a huge shout out to Yorgan De Castro. I saw him knock out Justin someone, a Samoan feller, and I saw it. I heard him when he knocked him out, but I didn't give him enough credit. And his performance in the first 7 minutes of that fight, I absolutely got to give more credit to. So I'm excited to see him come back, hopefully stronger than ever. Who knows? Pardon me while I take another cough drop there. Calvin Kattar versus Jeremy Stephens. That was a good fight. That wasn't a long fight, but that was a good fight there. Let me check on whether this was the first round or the second round. Second round knockout. Calvin Kattar hit Jeremy Stephens with an elbow, a vicious elbow. He hit him with in a combination, I believe. He hit him with a right elbow or forearm smash, knocked him out, and then he jumped on top of him. I think he got him out. Maybe he was in the guard, and he hit him with a left elbow, and that cut open Jeremy Stephens pretty bad. So that was. That was a great performance by... Well, was that a great performance? Obviously it was, because he won in spectacular fashion. I don't remember if he was winning before that, or if it was about even. Yeah, I don't quite remember, but that was an exciting fight. Jeremy Stephens fights are always exciting. You know, he's not scared to go and give as much as he takes. No homo. Francis Ngannou versus Jairzinho Rozenstruik. This fight, I don't... Francis Ngannou, as we've known for years, is the single scariest human being in the world. You know, there's Deontay Wilder, who has a ton of power as well. I think Francis might have more power than him. And he knows how to wrestle now. He knows how to grapple. He knows how to throw out Kimuras. I would love to see Francis Ngannou submit somebody with the triangle. But I don't think Francis Ngannou landed 2 punches in this fight. I think he only landed 1 punch. The fight was over in 20 seconds by spectacular knockout. He got hit with like 1, 2, maybe 3 leg kicks. And he said, you know what? I don't think I want to fight this guy very long. So he just charged forward, right hand, left hand, right hand, left hand. And absolutely, I got to give all credit in the world to Jairzinho Rozenstruik. His head movement was on point. It was like the Matrix. He was ducking and diving, but the simulation cracked. He wasn't perfect for 1 second. Francis Ngannou hit him with a left hand and knocked him out cold. And I'm looking at the results right now, and it says that this was a TKO, a technical knockout. That is absolutely wrong. This is a KO flat. This is more KO'd than any other human being has ever been KO'd. He was asleep before he hit the ground. And when Francis jumped on him and started giving him, the follow-up shots, it was like it was like desecrating a corpse, okay? At that point, Jairzinho very well may have been a corpse, okay? So, I hope they switch that. It's not a TKO. A technical knockout means that Jairzinho was still awake, he just can't defend himself. He was not awake. He was in dreamland. He had the most peaceful sleep of his life in those few seconds after Francis hit him. Henry Cejudo, a championship fight here. Henry Cejudo versus Dominick Cruz. Dominick Cruz, this was the other fight with Keith Peterson, the referee. A questionable decision. Dominick Cruz fans are all going to say it's an early stoppage. Henry Cejudo fans say it was a great stoppage. I like both the guys. I fall in the middle. I don't know. I could see the argument for it being a good one, and I can see the argument for it being a bad one. I don't know. I'll leave that up to you if you guys ever see the fight. Henry Cejudo caught him with a knee, knocked him down. He was definitely hurt, and then he jumped on him, started throwing punches to him. While Dominick was trying to get up, he wobbled a few times, and Keith Peterson saw enough there. And I don't remember what I said in the last podcast. I think I said that Dominick Cruz was going to win, or maybe I said that I don't know. I don't know. I didn't know going into this fight, but the way it looked to me was that Henry Cejudo was going to win either way, just from what I saw in that fight. And then Henry Cejudo retired after that. Triple C. That was... a lot of people didn't seem as shocked as I was, but I was definitely shocked. I wasn't expecting it. He wants to, laid down the cape as the greatest combat sports athlete of all time. He was an Olympic gold medalist in 2008. He dethroned the greatest fighter of all time, Demetrius Johnson, Mighty Mouse, became the flyweight champion, defended against TJ Dillashaw, who was another contender for greatest in the world. Then he moved up to bantamweight, had a comeback victory against Marlon Moraes, who was an absolute killer. And then he defended against Dominick Cruz, who is a contender for greatest in the world. So, you know, the king of cringe. Maybe you didn't like him, maybe you loved him. Heck of a fighter. Congrats to him. I hope it goes well. And Dominick Cruz, I hope he comes back. Yeah, Henry Cejudo, it was a little weird the way he said it. Like, I have a girlfriend. I'm retiring. So, you know, he announced to the world that because he can finally get a girlfriend. And he needs to ever get a girlfriend. Someone like Henry Cejudo has to win a ton of championships and have a ton of gold and have a ton of money because he's only 5'4", and women aren't interested in that. Justin Gaethje defeated Tony Ferguson. What a fight this was. It broke my heart. Tony Ferguson didn't have a lot. Well, I don't know. I don't know if I should say this as Tony Ferguson being deficient somewhere, or if I should talk about Justin Gaethje having one of the best performances I've ever seen. Period. Definitely the best I've seen from him. He was. It was a masterclass in technical striking. I don't know if that's true. It was a lot of technical striking, but he threw some bombs out there. But when he was in his corner, Trevor Whitman, I believe, is the name of his coach. When he was in his corner, he was telling, "Hey, I need you to take 10% off your punches because you're whiffing right now. Okay? When you can let go, when you know that you will land, let go." But yeah, that was incredible the way he switched up his timing, the way he took power off certain shots. You know, he focused on accuracy, and yeah, Tony Ferguson didn't have much to give to him. I think in the very end of the second round, pardon me, he caught him with an uppercut, and it looked like he was going out, like completely out, but the bell rung, and that saved Justin Gaethje. Or maybe it didn't save Justin Gaethje. Maybe he would have recovered either way. I don't know. But, yeah, this was stopped by Herb Dean, TKO, in, I think, the 3rd minute of the last round. Yeah, Tony Ferguson, I don't know. We should make tanks, like army tanks, out of whatever Tony Ferguson is made of. It's absurd. You know, the punches he ate and kept standing were... I think Tony Ferguson... I don't know if Francis Ngannou could knock Tony Ferguson out. I really don't know. Yeah, but that was... yeah. His face was battered. He broke his orbital. And I think twice during the fight, he got chicken legs. And at the end, he was literally shaking his head trying to shake the punches off of him. And yeah, Herb Dean had seen enough. And I'm not getting emotional. Maybe a little bit. But also, I'm feeling under the weather and my throat's getting scratchy. That's what's going on with my voice here, if you hear it. But Tony Ferguson was my first favorite UFC fighter, I think. Stipe Miocic, when I first, started getting into like actual UFC, Stipe Miocic and Tony Ferguson were all the rage, and I think Tony Ferguson was my very first favorite fighter. So I hope to still see Khabib versus Tony at some point. But yeah, I don't know anymore. The world really just doesn't want it to happen. But yeah, Justin Gaethje. After watching you fight, I heard, I don't know. I was foolish. I looked at like Instagram comments or something like that, and I thought Justin Gaethje was this bad guy. I don't even remember why. But he, after the Cowboy fight, he completely won me over the way he talked, and now I'm definitely a huge fan of him now. you know what? There's always going to be a special place in my heart for Justin Gaethje, because he also knocked out James the Executed Vic. So yeah. I'm excited to see what happens with Justin Gaethje, and he is a way better fighter than I ever realized. He's a way better fighter now than what I saw in him. You know, I think a couple of years ago when I first saw him get knocked out by Dustin Poirier. Yeah. Why do I sound so emotional? I'm not about to cry. Dana White, thank you so much for putting those fights on. Jacksonville, Florida, you state full of psychopaths. I love you now. I'll stop. That's not true. Maybe. I don't know. Maybe I'll stop talking crap about Florida. Probably not, because that place really sucks. But I'm glad they're all psychos, because I got to watch the fights. I got to give Uncle Dana White my money, right? So, already said my fight of the week. I don't know if I really talked about much, but I hope you guys got to catch those fights. I hope you have a great week. Hopefully I'll have a bit more to talk about next week. Well, you know what? I probably will, because on the 13th and the 16th, there are supposed to be more fight cards with Walt Harris versus Alexander Overeem and Anthony Smith versus Glover Teixeira. So, you know, I'll have something to talk about. Holy crap, 26 minutes. This was too long. I don't even remember what I said. Hey, I hope you just like, you're kicking it and you're sipping Henny. That's not true. I don't want you to drink. Be safe. Be healthy. I hope that you guys get to hug your pets. I hope that you get to hug your pets and stop having to do homework soon. Peace out.